Hey, what's up? In this training video, I'm going to be going over 3 reasons why it might be okay to cut a long run short. And then I'm also going to provide 2 strategies that I use during my long runs for every training build up to one of my goal races for the year that has just helped me tremendously along my running journey. It's helping the athletes I get to work with, and it's just going to help you get you dialed for your race. So I encourage you to watch this or listen to this all the way to the end. If you're new here, my name's Eric. I'm a USGO ultra running certified coach. This is the My Endurance Life video podcast where I give you training tips, video strategies, bring in special guests, and just try to give you everything that you need in your personal endurance life, and then also give you an inside out look at my personal endurance life along the way, because stuff that works for me might work for you, and just want to share everything that I can so you have a successful journey, race, whatever goal or adventure you are looking forward to or training for. So with that being said, let's get right into the training video. Also, if you are interested in joining the My Endurance Life team, visit my website at myendurancelifecom, and then you can download one of my free training guides, or you can also get plugged into coaching, training, community, provide all kinds of stuff there too. So it's myendurancelifecom. Go ahead and check that out now. You can pause the video and then come back and watch this later, because this isn't going anywhere, but I know that people tend to forget. So it's myendurancelifecom. Download a free training guide, or check out the training community and the resources that I also have on there. Okay, so 3 reasons why it might be okay to cut a long run short. And I'm speaking out of the reason I want to bring this up is because this actually just happened to me and my training partners recently, where we went out to run a 50K for a race that different races that we're all training for, but we're training together. So I'm currently training right now for the Stagecoach 100. A friend of mine is training for the Kodiak 100, and another friend, or my cousin actually, is training for the Kodiak 100K. So their race is on the same date, sometime in October. My race is at the end of September. But we are all generally right about the same fitness level, and our training blocks kind of parallel each other, so we've been running a lot together. And on this particular run, we ended up cutting it short for what we had anticipated, or what we had our goal for the day was. It was our Saturday long run. We wanted to do a 50K, and the technique and the strategy that we were using for this is one of the strategies I'm going to go over later in the video. Was helping us. We all had the same game plan leading into this. We wanted to get a certain amount of miles in, or time in, a certain amount of elevation, but our main strategy was dialing in our nutrition and hydration. And as I elaborate more on one of the 3 reasons why it's okay to cut a long run short is that our hydration strategy just wasn't working out for the day. And that brings me to reason number 1. Reason number 1 is weather. Not whether you should do it or not, but like the weather. For our run in particular, it's August. It got super hot. We knew it was going to be hot, but so we started early. We had enough water that we thought in our handhelds. My cousin was using a vest, but we were doing a 6-mile loop that we were going to run 5 times. Our goal was a 50, so a 6.2 if you want to be technical and do the math. Our goal was a 50K, and we were going to get around 6,000 feet of elevation combined on all 6 loops. So we started out, and it was nice. It was in the 70s when we started out. Pretty humid, but you know, it was nice. The first 3 laps weren't good. By the end of the 3rd lap, my cousin started to struggle a lot, and we could tell that the sun was really out now. It had warmed up to the mid 80s, and I had noticed that I was running with 2 handhelds, and I had noticed that I was running out of water by the end of the 3rd loop, and knowing it was only going to get hotter with my 2 handhelds, but it was all I had. So I was like, okay, well, just, you know, let's just see what happens. Anyways, the reason we cut this short is because halfway through the 4th loop, we were all out of water. I had already drinking the 30 ounces of water, or 32 ounces of water that I was carrying. My friend Zach had already drank his 32 ounces that he was carrying, and then my cousin Kurt had drank about 40 ounces that he had in his soft flask and his vest. So knowing that if we had continued and pushed through, so we finished lap 4, but had we continued and pushed through lap 5, had it, with the day only getting hotter, by the time we finished lap 4 it was 92 degrees, that it was really going to jeopardize our training moving forward, taking a lot of extra effort and time to recover that we wanted to use building. I mean, next Sunday, the day after, we had another run planned. So in order to stay on our training schedule, that was more important than just getting another 6 miles. We had slowed down a lot through the day as the temperature rose, so we had already met our time goal. I think we were out there for a total of 5 hours of running, and but 6 more miles, 1 more loop wasn't gonna increase our fitness at all. It would actually jeopardize our training, which would jeopardize our fitness going through further in the build, especially as we're entering the peak training block of our segments. So reason number 1 is weather. If it's super hot, if you're super exposed, if it's super humid, just consider to yourself, is it going to take me longer to recover after this? Is it actually worth it, or did I get enough out of today? And I know that people are going to say you can't choose the weather on race day, but you can choose what you're doing during training, and you can be smart about it. Yes, of course, if this was the race, we would find a way to persevere and push through, and actually I would probably be running with a vest during the race, knowing that it's going to get really hot, because you can forecast what you're doing for those long durations and have different aid station strategies and all that to accommodate and counteract the heat, which we didn't have during that run. Okay, so reason number 1 is weather, and this not only is for the heat too, but if it's super windy and it's taking a lot of, if you're running into a headwind and it's just taking a lot more effort and it's going to drain you, it's okay to cut it short. Or winter time and it's super frigid outside and you're just hard to stay warm. It takes a lot of energy for your body to stay warm. So just whenever you watch this video, whatever weather you're running in, just consider that. That's why I recommend training for time and not mileage. And since we had already met the time goal for that day, we called it good. So brings me on to reason number 2. Reason number 2 is if the route that you planned is taking longer than you anticipated. And this kind of coincides along with the weather and the rate of recovery that will be required after you finish that. Say you planned a 20-mile out and back, okay? And then you get about 11 or 12 miles into it and you realize, man, I'm moving a lot slower than I anticipated today. Either I didn't feel as good when I started the run, I thought I'd be moving quicker, or the route ended up being a lot more elevation change than you anticipated, which slowed you down, and your goal for that day was, say, a 4-hour run. But man, I'm not going to finish 20 miles in 4 hours. Should I keep going or should I turn back? So it can go either way. You can either really slow down your pace, to where the intensity level stays in that rate of perceived effort, around a 2-3 if you're training for an ultra. If you're training for a marathon, this is totally just stop watching the video right now. This is specific to ultra running and ultra marathon training. So time on feet. If you wanted to run for 4 hours, just when you hit that 2-hour mark, just turn back and go back. If you're on a loop, study the loop before you get out there and see if there's alternatives to get back to your vehicle or the trailhead wherever you started, and be familiar with the areas too. If you get in a situation where you have to finish the loop, just stay in that rate of perceived effort. By no means, don't speed up to finish the loop or the out and back on time, because that's just gonna take more toll on your body, and we want to recover. Recovery is just as important during our training as the running, because if we're not recovered, then our training runs moving forward, we're not going to gain anything because our body's going to be struggling so much. So we want to enter each run as fresh as possible. I'm not saying that there's not going to be fatigued. You're not going to be tired. Like, fatigue is okay, but where you notice like I got overly dehydrated, or that run really took a lot out of me to where I can't even run easy at a slow pace, that's when you know you're overtraining or putting too much effort in your earlier runs. Okay, which brings me on to reason number 3. And number 3 is probably the most important, and is strictly, like, it goes with common sense. And this is just like my opinion that I use a rate, it's the same rate of perceived effort scale I used as rate of perceived pain. And this is injury or injury prevention. If you're out on a long run and something flares up to the point where you know, like, hey, this isn't right, cut it short or call and get a ride, depending on where the pain scale is and just like the severity of it. Like, you know your body, pay attention to your body. For me personally, I say anything up to a 5 is manageable, and that's just common discomfort that comes along with running. A 6, 6 to an 8 might be like, okay, I'm gonna cut this short, like there's something going on and I don't want to push through to potentially injure myself, cause an injury, or start like a nagging pain that's going to continue on through the rest of my training and ultimately turn into an injury that might stop my training and my goals and not allow me to race. So that's, 6 through 8 is like pretty high pain, but 0 through 4, that's mostly like discomfort and just normal training stuff, in my opinion. Assess yourself individually. You know your body a lot better than I do, of course, through a YouTube video. Don't know you at all. 9-10, if you have a 9-10 pain, stop immediately and call for a ride, call for help, because that means that you got something huge going on. So if that happens to you, like, praying for you, like, I hope like that just never happens on a run, but I know it might. Okay, 9-10, don't push through. We don't need to be David Goggins, right? David Goggins doesn't have to go to work like we do on a normal day. Okay, so now we're coming to the neat part of this training video. 2 huge strategies that I use for my long runs that are going to help get you dialed for your race. And as I mentioned before, strategy number 1 is what we were using during the long run that we cut short just this past Saturday. And it is my most recommended. It's what I prescribe for like all the athletes that I work with when they're getting ready for an ultra, especially 100K, 100 miler. Like, this is going to be huge for you. And it is creating a loop where you can come back to an aid station that you set up yourself, whether you're using your vehicle or a table or something like at a park or at a trailhead, but create a 4 to 6 mile loop, because those are common aid station distances. Will take you around an hour to hour and a half, depending on the elevation and the technicality of the course, but real similar to race conditions. And you can test different kinds of nutrition or hydration on each loop, or each time you complete the loop. So I've done this on every big race that I've trained for. You trying different gels, different kinds of real food, different kinds of hydration, and I'll alternate them each different loop. I'll try something for loop 1, knowing, okay, it's still cool in the morning, depending on what time you start to run. For us, it was in the morning. So in the morning, I want to eat this because I know that this is going to be good when it's cool, when the day is still cooler and I'm not fatigued yet and my body can handle a little bit better. Later in the day, especially when it's hot, you're going to be wanting to eat something different. Maybe it's a liquid diet or gels or watermelon or fruit or something like that, and you want to see how your body's going to persevere and endure through the next 6 miles as you go out. So what I was using, so I got my hydration down. So I wasn't testing hydration. I used Redmond Salt RE-Lyte for my electrolyte and regular water. I was carrying 2 handhelds. Okay, and if you want a discount to Redmond Light, the Redmond Salt RE-Lyte, it's my go-to. I love it for my electrolytes. It's what I use. You can check in the notes below in the and use that link and enter discount code LIFER and get 15% off on your order. So we're partnered with them, Minders Life and Redmond Salt. So just big shout out to them. I love it. Maybe you'll love it too. So check it out. Anyways, on this particular run, I was testing something new. In the first loop, I had my Spring Energy, the oats, apple and oats or whatever. It was 340 calories. I know there's a lot of bad press about Spring Energy, about their calorie count, but it works for me. And if something works for me, regardless of the press, I'm gonna continue on with it unless I know they're putting something like super bad in there that's bad for my body. Spring Energy, as far as I know, still isn't using bad products. They just messed up on a calorie count. But I know their products do work for me. So that's what I was using. So the first loop, after 6 miles, I had 340 calories of their oats, like breakfast. I forget exactly what they call it. Loop 2, come around. And it started warming up now, and I was actually using California rolls, like little sushi pre-made rolls that I got from the grocery store the night before. And it was my first time trying this. I saw another ultra runner trying it, so I was like, hey, I might as well give it a go. So that's what I love about this looped course. And so I ate that packet of California rolls, filled up my water bottles, headed out, and felt fantastic. It's like, okay, cool. I know that this is part of my repertoire now. It's something that I might want to use on my races regularly, or it might just be like a fallback if my nutrition plan starts failing or just my stomach changes. So I come around for loop 3, I had watermelon waiting, so I ate another half a pack of sushi rolls and half of my watermelon, which set me up for another good loop. And then ultimately on loop 4, finished the sushi and the watermelon, had a great time. It worked fantastic. So that's what I was testing. Previously, I tested just running a 50K on gels alone. And even though I had enough energy, just by the end of like 5 hours into that 50K, my stomach was a little bit unsettled. So I knew, like, okay, I can handle like 4 hours of gels, but pushing past that just doesn't do it. One other time I'd done with like burritos or deli subs, like just you name it. Like, I've tried it. I'm all about testing because you never know what you're going to go through, especially in a 100K, 100-mile distance, and you just might have to pull some audibles around there. Technique number 2, and this is for those people who just really don't like running loops over and over and over again. And this is more for like a road running scenario, or if you can get really strategic and detailed on your mapping if you're on a trail run. But plan on using convenience stores, gas stations, other places to eat along the way that you can get in and out real quick. And also going back to the loop format, treat each aid station like a race. So it helps you like get super efficient going in and out of the aid stations, knowing that like, okay, I want to be in here for 2 minutes or less. So it's like, fill up my water bottles, eat, get back out there, right? Or on this rest stop, okay, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes just to like recover a little bit. And one of the techniques that I've learned for me that really helps me be super efficient in aid stations is for 100, 150 yards leading up into the aid station, I'll walk. And I do this in my races, I do this in that loop format too, and I'll walk into the aid station. And what that does for me is it just lets and I'll start sipping on water right away, letting my stomach know, okay, we're going to start eating again. Because I've found for me personally, and this might help you, that if I run into an aid station and my heart rate's still at like race level and I haven't given it a chance to lower, I spend a lot of time in the aid station waiting for my heart rate to lower back down, waiting for my stomach to get ready to eat, where I could have used that time still moving forward. So as I walk into the aid station, like that 100 yards, length of a football field, that allows me to drop my heart rate, start sipping on water, get my stomach moving again, knowing that, okay, it's time to eat, so I can do my thing and then get back out there. And I'll walk for the next 100 yards. leaving the aid station, either situating my vest or finishing what's in my hand before I start running again. It just helps me. Maybe it'll help you, especially if you have issues with your stomach where it tends to get upset, whether it's from jiggling or just from an elevated heart rate. Okay, going back to strategy number 2, and all this requires is a vest or handheld water bottles for your run and a debit card or cash, whatever you feel comfortable using. And so I use this on a 40-mile training run that I did around my whole couple cities that I live next to. I live in Southern California, and so this took me, the time I did this, I ran 40 miles. It was an 8-hour timed run. It was just however far I can run in 8 hours. That's one of the beautiful things about using time to train with instead of miles, is because it doesn't pressure you to run faster. It's just, you know, like, I'm gonna be out here for 8 hours. It doesn't matter how fast I go. It's a real like race scenario, like, you know, training technique, because during a race it's like you're gonna go at an all-day pace, and I was really able to dial in my all-day pace. I ended up getting about 42 miles, I think, on this run. So I mapped it out where I was gonna hit a grocery store for breakfast, where I got a banana and was able to fill up my water bottles in there. And then also I hit up a gas station for a snack, where I think I got another banana and like some pretzels and stuff like that. And I'm also like trying to think of like aid station appropriate foods when I'm out doing this. It changed a little bit because I wanted to keep it fun. For lunch I went to In-N-Out and had a double cheeseburger and some french fries. And the beautiful thing about doing this, especially when it's a road run and you're running through the city or urban areas, is that you get access to like ice and cold water where you don't on the trails. Once your water's warm, your water's warm. And so it's nice being able to fill up in In-N-Out or these gas stations that, you know, have the soda machines. You can even get Coke. Like, lots of aid stations have Coke, and they really help along your runs too. So, you know, debit card, water bottles, but also I'm carrying all my electrolytes with me in my shorts. The great thing about Redmond Salt RE-Lyte is they have these little packs that you just fill into your water bottles, so they're easy to carry with you. I stuff them into the pockets on my shorts, and knowing I'm going to be out for 8 hours, I use a pack an hour, so I just need to carry 8 of them. So I went to In-N-Out, had lunch, and then went out for another couple hours till I got hungry again. Stopped for another snack, and then on my way back to my house, I ran past the San Clemente Pier, where I stopped for some more french fries, and that got me home. Every time getting cold water along the way. So just whatever strategy that you want to use, whether it's looped or carrying a debit card and using convenience stores, gas stations, restaurants, whatever you can along your way, it's going to help you. I know it will, just because you get to try and test so many different things, eating different foods. I was carrying gels too, just, you know, I'd take a gel every half an hour when I was doing that road run. But encourage you, check it out. Again, if you are new here, I welcome, like, subscribe, do all that stuff that I'm supposed to tell you on YouTube. Or if you're listening to this podcast, download it and leave a comment. It really helps support the channel so other people like you, my endurance lifers, can get access to these training videos. If you want to join the My Endurance Life community, check out my website, myendurancelife.com. Click on the green button to check out training and coaching plans, or download one of the free guides. And always, best of luck to you. This is your Endurance Life. My name's Eric, and I'm here for you, encouraging you every step of the way.